Welcome back to the Fit Family Podcast. Today is a full Q&A episode. We put the call out yesterday for some questions and we've got some good ones that we'll be breaking down today. Welcome, Dan.
Hello.
We are on the clock. We've got kids at a library. We're trying to make the most of some supervised time over the school holidays. So we're going to bang these out succinctly, which goes against every fibre of my being. So we're going to do it quickly. All right. Question number 1. Asking you, Dan. How do I become a morning trainer? Nights are too hard.
Interesting. Because do you want to be a morning trainer?
I think this is more an obligation to be a morning trainer. Like it's just something that has to happen.
Because I personally think morning is a lot easier. There is nothing you have to do before you train. It's simply the time you set your alarm for. So no matter when your day starts, that could be 7 a.m, that could be 9 a.m, that could be 5 a.m. If you want to train in the morning, obviously just having that time pre. So going to bed the night before, becomes very important to make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. So just that pre-planning, I guess, for that morning piece.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually listening to a podcast on this morning around, sleep on my run. And the studies suggest, recent evidence suggests that it takes about 3 days for you to kind of shift your circadian rhythm and biology to support waking up earlier. So the first time you wake up early, it's like you've been punched in the face. The day is hard, you're tired, you get through, you'll be tired a little bit earlier and you go to bed. The next day it should feel a little bit easier, and the day after that a little bit easier. Not only are you kind of providing that proof to yourself that you can do it, which is more important than any scientific change that happens, is the actual feeling that it is becoming a little bit easier, but physiologically it is becoming a little bit easier. I think that training in the morning when you're a busy parent or professional is so much easier than night for 90% of people, because just less stuff comes up.
There are no excuses at 4 a.m.
Yeah, there is nothing else you could be doing at 6 a.m. unless you work some weird time zone. And I'm sure someone listening to this will be like, well, actually, and I'm not really talking about you, I'm talking about the normal 9 to 5er. There's no email that needs to be answered. There's nothing that's overdue. There's no kids event that you need to prep for. It's just up and into it. And then the rest of the day just is so much easier. But if you're looking at the physiological question, it's 3 days. If you're looking at the logistical question, it's just so much easier when it gets done and it's out of the way. I mean, you go.
Yeah, so coming back to what you were saying, that it does get easier. It's like anyone with young kids will understand daylight savings.
Oh, yeah.
It just takes a little while to get back into that new routine. Exact same thing going to...
From a performance perspective, end of the day, I'm knackered. I'm done. There's no way I can go into the gym and lift anywhere near my capabilities, or if I'm going on a run. I mean, I hate running after dinner. I only had to do it a few times, but you just feel blah. There's no way that you can kind of perform in a way that potentially gets you closer to your goals if you do have them after a day of eating and a day of work. You're just much more tired. I don't know how footy players play at night. It'd just be beyond me. I'd be done.
But in saying that, that's our life now, and that's what you know now, and that's what suits our lifestyle now.
Yeah.
You used to train at night till very late, cricket.
Yeah, true.
It was never a problem for you, because I used to ask.
It was once I started working early.
I used to ask you, like,
yeah, it was hard.
How can you do that?
I mean, at the end of the day,
but that's different. That's what I'm talking about.
True.
We're talking about people that have a 9 to 5 job in this situation.
Yeah.
Yet not someone that used to work. You used to have to be at work at 6 a.m.
No, for sure. But yeah, I mean, training from 9 till 11, cricket in the middle of June was just awful. Yeah, that was shocking. But enough of my much storied cricket career. Moving on. Question number 2. How do I know I'm eating enough protein? This is pretty open-ended, so...
Yeah, you go, man. You love this. Come on.
The first question is, for what? How much are you eating currently? I mean, how do you know if you're eating enough kind of largely depends on your hunger cues and your progressions in regards to, any results that you may or may not be chasing or seeing. So
Exactly.
if your fitness is improving, your hunger signals are relatively stable, you're full in between meals, you feel like you have generally good energy across the day, then it's probably a fair guess that you are in fact eating enough protein. If you wanted to take things further and find out for sure, then the most recent data we have indicates that 1.6 grams per kg of your body weight is adequate for all physical goals and recovery and just general performance. Anything more than that is kind of like weeing in the pool. It's like, we've already got the water, mate. We don't need your little efforts. But if you enjoy more protein-based foods, then there's certainly no harm. Like you can eat more than that 1.6 and be absolutely fine. You just need a minimum of 1.6 grams per kg of your body weight to know that you are supporting your physical and cognitive goals. So if you wanted to kind of really make sure that you were eating enough, then you could either track it, using a calorie counting app and weigh your protein, and then you would know at the end of the day, or however long you wanted to track for. Or you could use a rough estimation, like using your hands. The palm of your hand, if you removed your fingers and your thumb, if you were to put that next to a piece of steak, then like that piece of meat is going to be anywhere from 150 to 200 grams, and it's going to yield roughly 30 to 40 grams of protein. So if you tally that up over the course of a day and maybe you have 4 palms of protein, then you know that you're going to be getting around 140 to 160 grams, and you'll likely be fine. So, I mean, it's a pretty broad question. The best way is to probably just dive head first and figure it out. Like how much do I need based on the calculation of 1.6 grams per kilo of actual body weight? And then how can I best measure that? And that's how you would know for sure.
Interesting. I find this so interesting. I'm not sure if you actually asked this question because that was directly to Ben. But it is interesting. My question comes back to, like always, why? Like, why do you want to know? Like, are you full? What is this person actually trying to achieve? Because to me, the average person who's interested in their health and well-being and general lifestyle changes, you don't need to weigh all your food and know exactly how much protein you're eating. And, if you are full and you have energy to get through your day, you're have no health.
From workouts.
Yeah, you're recovering. That is your body telling you, yep, you're good.
Also, like if we're to use our history of nutrition coaching, how many people have come to you for one-on-one nutrition coaching or through our group program and have already been hitting their protein?
No one.
Yeah, no one. So I think it's fair to say that if we're just speaking to the general person, every single person I've coached on nutrition, the first piece of advice has always been, we need to get the protein up. And it's been for people potentially like this who think that they are getting enough, but they just aren't. Or it's been for people who are getting food groups confused and they think that one thing is protein when it actually isn't. The obvious, the example that all PTs use is peanut butter. It's just not a source of protein that we should be relying on. It has protein in it, but it's not, it's not a source of protein on your plate.
Same as vegetarians, just recognizing, yes, your protein sources do have protein in them.
Yeah.
But you require a lot more of that source.
And sometimes people can kind of accidentally reach their requirements through just their foods that they enjoy. So some people love red meat, for example, and eat it a lot and are fine with the digestion. They're likely getting close to that protein number without even trying. But if you are not a big meat eater, if you are not a big dairy eater, and you're struggling with those food groups, then in all likelihood you're getting nowhere near it, even if you're supplementing with a couple of tablespoons in your overnight oats of protein powder. Like, that would be a case, like if your food choices are not naturally geared towards high protein food, then supplements are a terrific idea. Just to get those up, and you will feel infinitely better just by focusing on that one aspect of your nutrition. like adding stuff in is always so much more motivating and easy than taking stuff out. And adding protein in is literally like just tattoo it on my head. If I could get one thing for all people to do, it would be eat more protein, and they would feel so much better.
I had the conversation today. How many of our nutrition clients come to us and the first thing they want to talk about is snacking?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. Can we talk about my snacks? Can we talk about my snacks? No, let's actually look at your meals. Mm-hmm. Let's look at what you're actually doing, because more often than not, it's that protein.
Yeah, and it's not that the snacking is not a potential issue. It's just that the way to fix it is not by just cutting it out. It's by minimizing the need for it by adding in other stuff. We always talk to guys, as you said just then, it was a perfect example, but anyone who's been through nutrition coaching with us would be nodding their head when it's like we talk about displacing like poorer habits or less optimal habits with more positive ones, and it's a much more proactive mindset that makes it so much easier than just trying to take things away all the time.
Always, what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah,
in exercise, in nutrition, stop focusing and stressing about what you can't.
Yeah, spot on. That's a bar there, Danielle. Well done. So, question number 3. The 3 best core exercises.
Love it.
Again, super broad. Okay, you go first, because we're going to butt heads on this.
Well, it depends on the person.
So if you want to be right, listen to me.
It depends on the person. Is this someone who's coming to us who's just had a baby and they're trying to rebuild? Is it someone pregnant?
Yeah, the 3, when you talk about the 3 best, it really is, so there are, yeah, exactly. There are 3 ways that you can botch an exercise. The first way is it's just the wrong exercise for you at that moment in time. Like if I have an ACL injury, probably loading up heavy squats is not a good idea, or step ups or lunges. So that's the first doorway that you might turn back. It's the wrong exercise. The second one is you're set up in the wrong way. Like I'm not in the right position to do this exercise properly. And the third one is I'm doing the exercise wrong. So it's the wrong exercise, your setup is wrong, or you're doing the actual exercise wrong. But when you're choosing the exercise, as you said, if you had a cesarean 3 months ago, then hanging knee tucks is not going to be a good idea. If you're a well-trained person who has, who can hang with their body weight and they're comfortable in that position, then it may be a great exercise. It really does depend on where you're at and what your, immediate goals are with your body and training.
A takeaway, I think, for all core is always think quality over quantity. People can get a little bit carried away and think that more is better.
Yeah.
And in core exercises, that quality and scaling to where you are at is really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely the same with any exercise. Like lots of people train core through holds. Like isometric contractions are just holding your body a certain way. So think planks, hollow holds, side planks, and they're great. But most people don't add in enough, weighted core work where you can progressively overload that exercise in the same way that you would a back squat or a bicep curl. Is if you're finding 10 hanging knee tucks with your body weight quite easy, throw a 5 kg the dumbbell in between your feet, or a 3 or a 2. Start to load your muscles in the same way that you would any other muscle. If Russian twists are easy, you might add a weight plate. If leg raises are easy, you might progress from the floor to hanging to making them more tough with a loaded eccentric. Or there are so many ways that you can challenge your core, and there's no best way for anything. It just takes finding where your level is and then how you can progressively overload that over time.
Exactly. I actually had another conversation this week about it's even those exercises you're doing that you don't think are core related. A front rack position, for example, holding
killer.
Away.
Yeah.
That is training
deadlifts
your core.
Is an isometric contraction on the core.
Exactly. And people don't think that. They go automatically to sit-ups and planks.
Yeah. So, if we were to expand it even further, that's why, if you are low on time and you have good general movement quality and you don't have many injuries, if any, then that's why we would most of the time choose a free weight exercise, because the stabilizing that happens when you're doing walking lunges through your torso and squatting and push-ups, all of these movements, your core is, and I hate the term switched on, but it's active. It's working at the same time. Whereas if I sit down on a machine and I'm doing a lat pull down, it's like my core's working a little bit, but not the same if I was
It's more isolated. Yeah.
It's not the same if I was doing a pull up, if I had the capability to do that, or a chest press in a machine compared to a push up if I had the capability to also do that. So that exercise selection, like that first tier of is this exercise any good? That's where the what is the best falls apart a little bit.
That is why we do love functional fitness, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if this workout is not helping me throw my kids in the pool, then why am I even doing it, is what I say. I need to be able to carry the shopping home. All right. Actually, choose your 3 favorite core exercises that you would prescribe for clients. And you don't have to be too specific either, because otherwise we'll get into, like just a generally healthy person who consistently trains. What are your 3 go-to core exercises?
Yep. Okay, I love a dead bug.
Yep.
Side plank raises.
Yep, that's one of mine too.
Yeah, I really, really like that. And a plank is just universal.
Yeah.
So no matter where people are in their journey,
Yep.
it's always something that you can rely on.
It's a great base.
Yes.
I hate them, but it's a great base. So I'm not a masochist, so I don't enjoy planking. So planking is not in my top 3, but I respect it. My top 3 would be side plank raises as well. It's just a great way to load your obliques, like those side abs. Hanging knee tucks or leg raises would be my second. And my third would be a weighted hollow hold.
Yeah, okay, nice.
That would be my top 3.
Yeah.
Moving on. What's the next question we got there?
I've been eating clean, but the scales aren't budging. Help.
All right. Well, eating clean and losing weight, they're not related. They're not related. They're not even friends. They can be, they can be acquaintances. They may occasionally pass each other and nod their heads in the hallway, but they're not pals and they're not friends on Snapchat. But I mean, we have talked about this with clients for years, is like, just because you are eating healthier foods does not necessarily mean that your body is going to be in an energy deficit and lose weight.
Yes.
In order to know if your body's in an energy deficit, you may need to do a little bit of actual digging and, educate yourself maybe on how much energy you are currently eating and how much energy you need to be eating. And then you can use that overall, ethos of eating healthier foods, which is always a great idea because you'll feel better under that framework of energy balance.
I was about to say, just understanding what everything is worth is so important. When I say what it's worth, it's caloric value.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of healthy, high calorie foods.
Yeah, for sure.
So
typically foods that are higher in fats.
Absolutely. So just understanding when you do eat those, what they are worth, if you're looking at your energy balance and you are wanting to lose weight, is really, really important.
Yeah.
In saying that, the more healthy foods you eat, generally we're talking whole foods, the less likely you are to over consume.
Yeah, they're more filling. They're less kind of sweetened in a way. Like your brain has an easier time stopping than it does if you're smashing higher processed, more kind of highly palatable, which basically just means taste nice foods. There is often a correlation between people choosing healthier ingredients, which then as a byproduct may put them in a calorie deficit, but the deficit's the most important thing.
Yes.
Being that you can eat largely crap and still be in a deficit and lose weight. It's just not the best way to go about it. So the common denominator there is being in a deficit. So if you are eating clean and the scales aren't budging, then I would just say that, you're not in a deficit. That doesn't also mean that you need to change your nutrition. You may need to get your steps up. You may need to improve your activity. If your steps are below 5,000 on average over the past 2 weeks, up it to 7, up it to 8, and see if that moves the needle. It likely will.
That is generally where I see the biggest impact in most
Yeah, I know.
nutrition
Yeah,
clients.
in the last couple you've had for sure
Yeah.
that NEAT, non-exercise activity, has been a huge lever that you've
Yeah.
pulled. Yeah. Whereas it depends. If you're doing over 8,000 steps on average, then it's often intake based.
Yeah.
So it really does depend on the person, but eating clean is a nonsense anyway because you can't really define it.
And also, yeah, what do
Yeah,
people
like
define
what
as
is
clean?
Yeah. So, like, has it had a shower? Is it washed? Like it's a bit of a marketing term, much like toned,
Yes.
clean and toned.
Yes. Clean and toned.
Which also sign me up for that. Whoa, that would be nice. But yeah, it's not. It's nothing that you can accurately measure.
Yeah.
We're all outcome based. That's what we want. Something that we can monitor, be in control of, and have flexibility with.
Whoever this is, reach out and let's talk specifics.
Yeah, for sure. Next one.
Guidelines for eating out and not blowing the food budget.
You know what stuck out to me in that question was the word budget. If you were going to go on holidays, would you save up money in advance or would you try and do a cheap holiday while you're there? And it's much the same way with nutrition. So, you can be kind of, let's say, you're going out for tea on Friday night, which we are. In advance, in advance of that moment, we might have something that's maybe a little bit lower calorie for breakfast and lunch on Friday, or we may choose not to. We don't really have composition goals at the moment, so I know what your plan will be. I will probably adjust a little bit, but it really does depend on the person. Is that just leaving a little bit of extra spending money up your sleeve to then enjoy the night out?
Absolutely. We have no idea what we're eating on Friday. I'm very excited for it though.
Yeah.
But I will make sure that I've covered my protein needs before I get there.
Yeah. So I will, on the day, I will have a higher protein, lower carbohydrate breakfast and lunch just because it's the easiest way to overall manage my intake. Up my vegetables a little bit to stay full, and then you get there on a Friday night and have a great time. Social occasions where you kind of have to manage it consistently are more when your job maybe includes more, work dinners and meetings where there's catering supplied. That may be when you start to kind of come up with a little bit of a plan of, that ongoing consistency compared to more irregular once-offs. So again, the advice does depend on the person and what they normally do. But if you're eating out, maximum 3 times a week, then you could probably just be a little bit more cautious on the day of and be absolutely fine.
Also, just wondering with this question as well, not blowing out the food budget, like are we actually talking dollars here and not calories?
Oh yeah, just order cheaper stuff. I mean, the prices are written down next to what you're ordering. It couldn't be any easier. Yeah. Stop ordering the Wagyu from Japan. And I'll just have a bowl of chips, thanks, mate. $8, happy days. Even though
protein shake beforehand. Make sure you're meeting your protein needs.
Yeah, exactly. Just pack some nuts in your handbag. Happy days.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, the same way that you would budget your holiday spend would be the same way that I would tell you to budget your overall nutrition.
Yeah.
Keep it
also,
simple.
I guess, yeah, definitely. Which comes into the next one, could be very, very close. If you do choose for Maccas to be your restaurant of choice.
Can I pretend to be you? Ask me. Ready?
Hang on, stop it. I haven't asked the question yet.
Right.
Our next question is, what's your go-to Maccas order?
All right, I'll pretend to be you. Ask me the question again.
What's your go-to Maccas order?
Well, I would just never eat there. Am I wrong? I don't know why I'm there. So you are the worst ever participant in like a hypothetical discussion. You know how people be like, oh, what would you rather do? Be eaten by ants or a lion? You'd be like, well, why am I getting eaten? And it's like, oh, just answer the question. So ignoring you on this one.
No, ask me the question.
I've already answered it.
No.
For you. Yeah. I've just never been there. Why would I ever be there?
Can you ask me the question?
What would your Macca's order be?
Is there a McCafe there?
Shut up. Just order off the normal.
Is there a McCafe there?
No, it's in Epping, no McCafe.
No, Epping do have a McCafe,
No,
and I would get a banana and an almond latte.
No, it's in God's country. It's in Wangaratta, no McCafe.
I just told you what I'd order.
Go.
Did you get my order?
No, proper, no almond latte BS. Order a meal. A meal for lunch. Go. What are you having?
Chicken salad with water.
Lame. No, it has to be off the proper menu.
What do you mean?
It
That
can't-
is the menu. McDonald's now offer salads.
Lame. No one. Okay. It has to be a burger. Like, it has to be off their traditional fast food menu. Now go.
I don't actually know what's on there.
Oh, yes,
from,
you do.
From when I was a child,
Yeah.
I'd probably get a Big Mac meal, but I'd take the sauce out.
Weird. Okay. I've never actually had a Big Mac. There's a confession. Ever in my life. I always used to order the McChicken. I'd probably order a McChicken.
You don't eat much red meat.
No, I'm not a massive red meat eater.
Chicken, everything.
Chicken, or I would order the nuggets. I'd probably get nuggets.
You would. You love a bit of fried chicken.
Crumbed chicken. Happy days. Delicious. Never lets me down, ever. Yeah, that's what I'd order. Large, 20 pack, Coke Zero, fries, happy days.
Yeah. Can't get on board with soft drink ever.
No.
I'd probably go a McFlurry though.
Oh, yeah.
I do like it. Yeah.
I used to like
Although that would
McFlurry.
upset my tummy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Worthless
Yeah.
explosive poo.
Possibly Oreo used to be my favourite.
Yeah, Oreo's good.
Yeah.
I was an M&M's
When is the
guy.
last time you ate McDonald's?
Oh, pre-COVID for sure. I reckon, like, does ordering a coffee count? No. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I reckon before, like, Q, when we used to live in Q. Yeah, so like 2017.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm about 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
lovely way to tie a bow on it, because you're about to hear some. Here we go. Willie knows. He came in and went, oh, and walked back out. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, guys, we really enjoy the Q&As. It's nice to kind of answer stuff that I guess is a pressing question that any of you have. So if you ever have a question for the podcast, or you have a little sidewinder one, like what Maccas would we order, also happy to break that down too.
Do you also want to plug the competition that's coming out tomorrow?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Keep an eye on our socials, because we are launching a competition in conjunction with Little Bloke Fitness, who are our equipment go-tos, and also Just Nourish, who are our ready-made meal the go-to. So excited to launch basically a full transformation giveaway with them. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm a bit nervous at how much we're giving away, to be honest.
Our biggest promo ever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah, it's massive. So keep your eyes on our socials tomorrow for that. But we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.